What's up, what's going on, legends? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're jumping into Black Ops 6 Zombies, and I'm going to be bringing you the most straightforward guide possible to complete the main quest, Easter egg, and boss fight on the Shattered Veil. Now, in order to start this Easter egg, you're going to first need to build the raygun Mark II or acquire it through the mystery box. Now, keep in mind, if you do choose the Wonder Bar Gobblegum, it is actually a 1 in 3 chance on this map, so it might not feel worth it for you to use it. To begin building the raygun Mark II, you need to acquire the first part, which drops from the lab technician no sooner than round 10 within the mainframe chamber where Sam and Pack-a-Punch are located. Make sure to head into the mainframe chamber at round 10, where the tech will then spawn in and can be identified, then eliminated for the floppy disk, but you may need to look around the room if you don't see any signs of them around that time, as you might have already eliminated them. With the floppy disk in hand, head to the east foyer or the door to the right when facing the dinosaur, and within the room with the stairs near stamina is a computer you can now interact with to insert the floppy, causing the fax machine to start printing out a sheet. During the printing process, bugs will spawn in, so eliminate them, then interact with the fax machine to bring up a note with the name of a protocol. So example, I ended up with worm, but you get a few different outcomes. With the protocol name, you can now head to the nursery to look at a chalkboard which has groups of letters in different amounts, so you need to look for the letters that make up your word to see how many letters are within a group featuring a letter for your word. So in the case of worm, it will actually always be 5861 because W has a group of 5 letters, O has a group of 8, R has a group of 6, and finally M has a group of 1. Now you have the code and can make your way into the service tunnel through the main chamber near Sam to find an imprisoned Doppelgast, which you can now release using the code that we just got. Destroy the Doppelgast and you will receive a severed hand. Travel through the service tunnel to reach the end with the portal, where the armory will now be on your right. Head in, and at the end is the Mark II raygun with a keypad you can now use the severed hand on. With this wonder weapon acquired, we can now continue onto the upgrades and the main quest steps. We are going to need all 3 of the upgrades to complete the Easter egg, but the order isn't really important, and you can actually start some of the steps while working towards round 10. An empty canister is going to be required for each upgrade, however you can do them in any order. So the first I recommend going for will be located just behind Double Tap, but you will need a Casimir to suck it in. Luckily, within the service tunnel is a zombie lying in the rubble in the middle, providing us a Casimir for free, which we can take back to the window location. If you accidentally throw the Casimir through the window, it will give it back, so just shoot for in front of it, and it will have pulled it in, leaving behind the canister after it dissipates. A second one can easily be acquired from one of the blue rocks or crystals around the map. I know of at least 3 locations, one on the roof of the west hallways near PhD, on the ceiling in the east foyer staircase, and in the service tunnel towards the end near the armory. This will need to be shot with the raygun Mark II, no upgrade is required, and one of the 3 will drop the empty canister. The final one will require at least 2 combat axes, but you'll probably want to bring extra just in case you miss. This one is located near the Doppelgast we released earlier. Look outside of the map where you will see some red valves that fork into 2 end possibilities, A or B. Head into the mainframe chamber near Sam, where you will find a chamber that looks like it can be filled with gas, and either has an A or a B on the wall next to it. With the identified letter, you now need to hit the next valve and the following one that matches the letter you identified at the chamber to route the gas to that chamber within the main frame. Now head back to that chamber where you will find it filled with gas, and you can use a Semtex, Molotov, or other explosive to break it, giving you the empty canister. Although you can use these empty canisters to do the upgrades in any order, I would recommend, if you're looking to actually do the main quest, to focus on a specific one first, as you may need multiple field upgrade charges, which could take a couple of rounds, but I will cover the reason a little bit later. I'm going to cover each of the upgrades first, then go over what you need to do with each of them as far as the steps to minimize confusion. Take one of the empty canisters to the conservatory outside near spawn, where you will find a machine that looks like it can hold the canister, and you'll place it in. In order to charge this one, you're going to need to acquire 4 seeds, which you can get from the mushroom-like spores similar to those within the tomb, by sticking it with a Semtex, which explodes, causing the spore to spit out a seed. These have multiple locations but don't show up within the mansion, so you should come across most towards the spawn, but also some maybe towards the back near Double Tap as well. Once you have enough seeds, head back to where you placed the canister, and within the same building, with one just outside of it, are some boxes with broken glass that you can plant one of the seeds in, where you will want to protect it until it fully grows, indicated by the progress bar. Do this for each of the 4 box locations, and you'll be able to reacquire the canister, this time charged with the R upgrade, which you will need to take to the bench in spawn so that you can interact with it to actually equip it. Our next canister can be placed near spawn in Shem's Henge. It's basically a little circular courtyard with some rocks going around it. Place the canister in the location nearby, then go into the little circle where 2 abominations will spawn in. There are 3 medium-sized rocks around the circle you need to get the abomination to laser first, and once glowing, have the abomination charge into it to cause it to float. Do this for all 3 of them before a timed event will take place, asking you to protect the power siphon from vermin. Do so successfully, and this canister will be charged like the last one, which can be retrieved and returned to the upgrade bench near the armory in the supply depot, giving you access to the W upgrade. Our last canister requires a separate part in order to gain access to the area, which is the essence bomb, which you can find at any time randomly by destroying the little wooden crates around the map. Take the essence bomb down into the service tunnel near the rubble with the free Casimir, where you can place this bomb on the wall, opening up a secret room. Before we can do the next upgrade, we need to grab a couple of reflectors located in some fountains. The first, near quick revive with no Q to interact, so don't expect it. The second is going to be on your way towards Pack. If you take the west side on the southwest balcony near PhD, return to the secret room in the service tunnel where an ether worm statue is located, with a few surrounding doppelgas. Within this room are 3 posts you can place the 2 reflectors on. Place one on the post closest to the crystal and the other at the location up above. Place the canister within the spot in the room for the beam to appear, and if it's lined up hitting a doppelgast statue, then you can melee the crystal, sending an orb to the statue, spawning a doppelgast. Take the reflector off from above and place it on the other one on the lower area, then repeat this same process to spawn in a second doppelgast. For the last one, just head to the first one near the crystal, melee it once, and it should line up the final one, where you can then take on the last doppelgast, which is an elite. After all doppelgast statues are complete, retrieve the final canister and take it to the bench within the director's quarters to gain access to the P upgrade. With all the MK2 upgrades available, we can move to the next steps in the Easter egg. Remember when I mentioned you should complete a specific upgrade first? Well, this is where it comes in. I recommend getting the upgrade R done first, just because the next part can be done with each upgrade as you go, and you're going to need multiple Ether Shroud charges, so this allows you to flip around doing other things and returning later if needed. Head to the library with the raygun Mark II equipped with the R upgrade from spawn. You will see a painting with the room which is hooked up to a machine, and you'll interact with it to start an event asking you to charge the portal with eliminations using the R upgrade. Each elimination seemed to give about 5%, so it'll only be about 20 zombies to get the charge. Once complete, the painting becomes a portal, giving you access to a sort of mirror version of the library. Just to be safe, I recommend heading into the portal to at least ensure the items spawn. Using Ether Shroud, you will need to find 3 items and interact with them, which place some books within the bookshelves in this library. Each of the items has 2 possible locations. First, the audio log can be found outside the painting itself on a briefcase, or on the bar inside the dino room. The nuclear plant ID badge is either in the east foyer fireplace or the one next to the elevator down. The last part is the ledger, and it can be found on the desk at the top of the stairs in the east foyer, or possibly in the study, but that was the only spawn I didn't get during my runs. With all the items acquired, head back to the library to see 3 shroud-looking books on the shelves. They have symbols on them indicating some sort of order. However, I did process of elimination since it resets if it's incorrect. Input the code correctly, and the small room opens, where you can go in and grab the nuclear plan report. Within the painting, now that you've completed the parts, will be a pedestal similar to the one the artifact is on during the tomb boss fight. Interact with it to start a lockdown where a shielded amalgam will appear. In order to break the shield, you need to be using the upgrade that correlates to the color of the portal on the raygun before being able to actually damage it. Once defeated, be sure to interact with the artifact before heading to the next location. Our next painting is located in the dino room, but requires a sconce or lamp located within a cardboard box in the banquet hall to the right of the door frame just before heading into the room with the elevator. Take the sconce back to the dino room, and you'll see a similar one on the wall near Jug, where you can tell the one you found is missing. Place this one back on the wall and watch for the pattern the light provides, as it's a Simon Says game and will do up to 3 flashes. You need to mimic them before it opens another secret room. Down inside the distillery is another painting like you did in the library. Make sure to visit the upgrade bench near the armory to equip the W upgrade, visit an arsenal to equip brain rot, then head to the study where you should be able to find the bell inside a cabinet. Take this back to the painting and jump inside to make sure your next item spawns. Hop back out of the painting and head into the dino room on the 2nd level, where you'll see a bar in the corner that should have a shrouded bell present on the counter, where you should be able to place the one you found. Now brain rot a zombie in close proximity and ring the bell for it to hop behind the counter, handing you a flask needed to start the lockdown. Instead of an amalgam for this one, it's a mangler, but the same strategy exists. Use the corresponding upgrade for the raygun that matches the portal, and you'll be able to easily break the shield, damaging it down in no time. Like the previous one, interact with the artifact before heading to the last location. The final painting is located right next to the elevator down and will need you to have the P upgrade from the director's quarters. Take this back to the painting to charge the portal with eliminations before heading inside and interacting with a wine bottle on the table. There are 3 chalice locations we need to interact with to fill them. First is close to spawn on a bench to the left of the bridge. The second is on the 2nd floor in the dino room on the side furthest from the dino. And the third and final one is in the bottlery on the backside of the mansion near Double Tap. With all of them filled, head back to the area with the elevator. Just to the left on the wall is a number in blood followed by 2 more that go around behind the elevator. With this 3-digit code from left to right, you now need to make your way into the West Hall. next to a desk to interact with a safe, entering the code you received in blood. Inside is the antler carving, which is your key to starting the final ritual. Now make your way back within the painting to interact with the pedestal to take on an elder disciple, which requires the P upgrade in order to break the shield, allowing you to damage it down. Interact with the artifact one last time, completing the last step before entering the boss fight. In order to activate the boss fight, you will need to head into the mainframe chamber, and you will be able to start the final encounter by interacting with the terminal in front of Sam. But first, you will want to get all of your perks, the Raygun Mark II upgraded to Pack-a-Punch level 3, maybe the ASG-89 setup with Dragon's Breath at Pack 1 Legendary to save ammo against zombies during the fight, self-revive, and maybe the most important thing could be a chopper gunner. If you run with a squad, it can be extremely helpful to get multiple Mark II ray guns, as they felt the most impactful for the boss, and anyone who has it can actually grab an upgrade. Otherwise, even something like an XM4 would be a solid option as a second weapon for those who don't. The boss fight is a bit tough, as you will likely need to consistently be moving to avoid being charged and thrown into the air by the Z-Rex, while also dealing with an almost endless wave of zombies. I recommend moving in clockwise or counterclockwise rotation around the arena, allowing you to train the zombies while also keeping a good distance from the Z-Rex. One of the biggest things to watch out for during the fight is the toxic pools that show up on the ground, as they will not only damage you but slow you down a ton, putting you at a much higher risk of going down. Focus on the critical spots, usually glowing green, such as the mouth, which shoots out toxic blasts, its sides whenever it consumes toxic zombies, or the eyes to deal the most damage. If you have the Mark II, focus on the boss with it while trying your best to use your secondary for zombie crowd control. After eliminating the first 25% of the health bar, it will jump on a ledge above the arena, shoot a toxic blast across most of it, and you will want to dodge that before taking on waves of zombies until you see it return. This phase repeats the same as the last 25% of the health until it gets to halfway, where it will then head back onto the ledge, and when it returns, it's basically phase 2. You will see a bit more of a green glow on the Z-Rex, and its attacks change quite a bit, causing it to charge in different directions, and it seemed like at a much faster pace, while also doing its jump or slam attack a bit more frequently. Do your best to keep your distance while squeezing damage in whenever you can. If you are in a squad with multiple chopper gunners, you can likely call the first one in at this point. As the fight progresses, more of the ground seemed to be covered with toxic pools, but sticking to the outskirts for the most part made most of it easy to get past, and at 25%, the boss heads up to the ledge one final time, where you will then defend against the zombies again until it returns. Outside of following the same strategy you did for the first 75% of the health, this is where you will want to use the last or only chopper gunner you have, as with pretty solid accuracy, you can almost complete the rest of the fight from this point within the streak. If there is some health bar left to go, just play it safe after returning from the chopper to deal the last bit of damage you need to complete the main quest Easter egg and boss fight for the Shattered Veil. Now hopefully this guide will make things as straightforward as possible and also help you guys get through this as easy as possible, but that's going to wrap things up for us here. Thank you guys for all the support in today's video, all the support in the channel. I look forward to seeing y'all in the next one. Peace!